Good evening, Corvallis. Welcome to the Beaver News. I'm Janessa Kirk.
And I'm Mackenzie. We're glad to have you with us. Though it has been open for classes for several weeks now, the official grand opening for the Linus Pauling Science Center will be this Friday, October 14th, with activities planned for the whole day. Named after the two-time Nobel laureate and 1922 Oregon State University graduate Linus Pauling, the $62.5 million center is home to the Linus Pauling Institute and to the chemistry department in the College of Science, according to the university. Starting at 1 p.m., the center will be open for tours and sampling from Ava's Cafe located on the ground floor, with the dedication ceremony to start at 3 p.m. Speakers for the dedication include Pauling's son, Linus Pauling Jr., as well as Edward J. Ray, the Oregon State University president, Sherman Bloomer, the dean of the College of Science, Balz Farai, the director of the Linus Pauling Institute, and Patricia J. Reeser, an OSU class of 1960 graduate, as well as the OSU Foundation trustee and co-chair of the Campaign for OSU. Self-guided tours will also be available on Saturday.
If you are big on taking vitamins and supplement pills in order to obtain full nutrients, you might want to think again. According to David Stouch of the Daily Barometer, scientists in the Linus Pauling Institute at Oregon State University conducted a study to, quote, determine whether some of the healthy compounds found in cruciferous vegetables can be as easily obtained through supplements, end quote. With the study determining that the nutrients from vitamins alone are not enough. In order to obtain these important benefits of these vegetables, it is necessary to consume the whole food and be careful with how you cook it. And Stouch interviewed Emily Ho, an Oregon State Associate Professor in the OSU School of Biological and Population Health Sciences, with Ho stating, quote, if broccoli is cooked until it's soft and mushy, its health value may plummet. However, it can still be lightly cooked for 2 or 3 minutes, or steamed until it's still a little crunchy and remain with adequate levels of the necessary enzyme.
Over the weekend, the OSU women's soccer team was able to pick up a pair of road victories against the University of Arizona Wildcats and the Arizona State University Sun Devils. According to the Daily Barometer, the Lady Beavers first beat the Sun Devils Friday 2-0 and followed that victory a few days later with a 1-0 victory over the Wildcats on Sunday. Though they were able to take last year's game against the Wildcats in a 3-0 victory, at halftime the two were deadlocked 0-0. That was until Haley Shaw, the team leader in assists, was able to connect with Ashley Seal, who landed a shot just inside the lower left-hand corner of the Wildcat goal. OSU women's soccer is now 5-1 in the Pac-12 and will travel this weekend to face off against one of the conference's new members, the University of Utah in Salt Lake City.
This coming Thursday, October 13th, Oregon State's professor and critically acclaimed writer Tracy Daughtry will be reading from his new book titled Just One Catch. This event will take place at the Oregon State Valley Library in the main rotunda at 7:30 p.m. After the reading, a book signing will also take place. In his novel Just One Catch, Daughtry, quote, traces famed American author Joseph Heller's life from his early days as a Coney Island kid and son of Russian immigrants to his growth as a major 20th century American writer and author of the influential novel, end quote. Daughtry's work also includes 4 short story collections, a book of personal essays, and 4 novels. His biography was named one of Publishers Weekly's 2011 top summer books. Daughtry also holds the title of Distinguished Professors of English and Creative Writing at Oregon State University.
OSU's Fairbanks Art Gallery opened a new exhibit yesterday titled Dark Fire in the Waiting Room. According to the university, the exhibit will showcase the work of Sean Caulfield with collaborators Sue Kohlberg and Jonathan Hart. Hart and Kohlberg have created poetry and book design respectively, while Caulfield will be displaying menzotints. A menzotint, says Fairbanks director Douglas Russell, is, quote, an eclectic style of printmaking that is influenced by many mediums and styles, including etching, end quote. Douglas goes on to describe Caulfield's work as, quote, organic and creature-like. The inspiration for the exhibit was found in themes and imagery from Dante's Inferno and Purgatory, as well as a mix of modern themes like industrialization. All 3 artists come from the University of Alberta in Canada. Fairbanks Gallery is open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and Fridays from 8 a.m. to noon. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we will have more of your local stories. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss it.
Welcome back to the Beaver News on Channel 26. If you are a student who enjoys singing in a choir but doesn't have the time or money to enroll in a choral program at Oregon State, you're in luck. According to Gwen Shaw of the Daily Barometer, University Choral is a, quote, non-audition co-ed chorus that meets Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 1 to 2 in 204 Benton Hall, end quote. This choir is conducted by a group of graduate students and a professor presented for all group meetings. Director of Choral Studies at Oregon State University, Dr. Stephen Zilke said, quote, students like it because it is the lowest commitment choir we have, end quote. The University Choir will be performing on Friday, December 2nd at noon at the United Methodist Church in Corvallis. They will be singing a series of holiday songs along with the Corvallis Community Choir.
Registration for Beaver Strides, the university-organized walking program, open to all OSU students, faculty, and staff, will continue through to this Friday, October 14th. The program is free of charge, and all participants will receive a pedometer and a booklet to track their progress, according to the university. The program will begin next Monday and run for 6 weeks until the end of the term. Participants have several options within the program. They can choose to be either solo striders, people that participate individually, or be part of either groups or pairs. For more information on the Beaver Strides program, contact them at beaver.strides@oregonstate.edu.
Oregon State University will be testing its emergency alarm system tomorrow, October 12th at 2 o'clock, and should be completed with the test by 2:10 p.m. According to the Daily Barometer, quote, OSU's emergency alert system sends an alert to students and staff on the medium specified by students and staff on the alert.oregonstate.edu website. Students and staff can be alerted by text message, phone call, or email. Individuals are encouraged to use a private number or email address so that if the university systems are overloaded or incapacitated, they can still be alerted to the emergency or danger. End quote. The university is recommending that students and staff update their information prior to the test on Wednesday in order to make sure that it is working correctly. Now we are going to report from Sunday's Great Pumpkin Run.
I'm Mackenzie Allen here with Dave Zabak, the Executive Director of Home Life, the organization putting on the Great Pumpkin Run. Dave, if you could just give me a little bit of an overview of what the Great Pumpkin Run is and maybe a little bit of the history of the event, if possible?
Sure. Well, this is the 21st year of the Great Pumpkin Run, and it was started by the Kiwanis Club of Corvallis, 21 years ago. And they named it after Dee Andros, who was a football coach for OSU, and he was also known as the Great Pumpkin. And the Kiwanis did the Great Pumpkin Run and the Fall Festival Run for quite a few years. And about 6 years ago, they decided it was too much to try to organize 2 runs. And so they gave Home Life the Pumpkin Run about 6 years ago so we could take it over and make it our own fundraiser.
All right, and could you tell me a little bit about what Home Life does and why it's beneficial for the community?
Home Life is a nonprofit residential provider for adults with developmental disabilities. So we have 8 group homes in this community we serve roughly 50 people, and we have, besides the group homes, we have apartment programs or people living independently in the community with intermittent support. So we have board of directors, we have, our funding comes from the state of Oregon, but this fundraiser helps us fund the programs that we do.
And about how much do you expect to raise from this event today?
Well, last year we raised just over $8,000, and I hope we do at least that well. We're really excited this year because we have a title sponsor, the Calapooya Brewing Company, and this is the first year we've had a title sponsor. We've had other sponsors in the past, but a big title sponsor is huge for us, and so we're really excited to have them this year join us for the race.
Perfect. And if you could just tell me a little bit about what your position as Executive Director of Home Life entails.
Well, budgeting, fundraising, answering to the board of directors. We do a lot of grant writing so that we can open new homes. And in the last 5 years, we've had a lot of growth. We've opened 5 new homes in 5 years. So we've been doing everything from fundraising to buying houses to hiring staff and providing supports for adults who, several of them have lived with their family homes until they're adults. And then we provide an alternative to, well, institutional care. In the past, people with developmental disabilities were put in institutions, but Oregon has closed all its institutions, and now we support people with disabilities in the community and group homes, and Home Life is one provider that helps do that.
Perfect. And how many people do you expect to be registered and running in the 3 different races today?
Last I heard, we're just a little over 300, but I have to double check that.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much, and good luck today.
Thank you.
This has been Mackenzie Allen reporting for the Beaver News on KBVR at the Great Pumpkin Run.
We're heading into a short break, but don't go anywhere, because next we have our national stories, including one about the looming NBA lockout and more.
What'd she say?
She said whatever.
No, she says that all the time.
What's that?
Hello? I'm on the phone.
Mom, I'm on the phone!
Hello? I'm on the phone.
Who's this? It's me. I'm on the phone. Mom.
Oh, you're on the phone. All right. Sorry. Anyway.
Who are you talking to? Kelly?
Mom.
All right.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
I got no pulse, we're losing him.
He's in beefing.
Shocking.
Guys that run all the time. Just had a few drinks. This can't be happening.
Are we clear?
Clear.
You just buzzed.
Just buzzed. You didn't tell us that, sir. You're right, this isn't happening. He'll be fine. I feel good.
Really?
No, not really.
Buzz driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal.
Shocking.
Horseradish. Is that for horses? Remember me, Mr. Lobster? From last Tuesday? Banana. Here comes the rain. We need a hat. And why do we need a hat? That's right.
When you talk with your child, you build vocabulary, and learning starts long before school does. For more tips, go to bornlearning.org.
Hair loss. Now this rash on my face, what's going on?
For answers, ask your doctor the right question.
Could I have lupus?
Sir, are you okay?
Everything's fine. Thanks.
You wouldn't ignore this, so why ignore the signs of a stroke? Call 911 immediately, because time lost is brain lost.
G-morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. You up? What'd you dream about? Me? JK.
Text me back.
I'll keep texting till you wake up. Are your parents home? Is this something I did? Exclamation point, huge fight. This isn't a joke. Hello? Text me.
I'm Jeremy Call, and I made suction tires. I used a rivet gun to connect the suction cups, and then I just connected it to the tire.
Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your invention at inventnow.org.
3 out of 4 kids are not as secure as they should be because their car seats are not used correctly. But the latch system makes it easier to get it right and to hold your kids tight. Anchor, tether, latch. Learn more at safercar.gov.
So you can't save money? It's easy as pie. Drink from the tap. A $3 bottle of water a day times 10 years times 6% interest is over 14,000 clams. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feedthepig.org.
I remember how much you said you liked wine.
Oh.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
When you open a book, you can explore new lands, make new friends, and discover new adventures. There are amazing possibilities when you open your mind to reading. Explore new worlds. Read.
Welcome back to the Beaver News here on KBVR. Authorities responded to a riot today at an Oklahoma prison, resulting in the injury of more than 20 inmates. 5 of those injured were flown to nearby hospitals for further treatment, though no information about their exact conditions has been released. According to CNN, an aerial video of the scene from CNN affiliate KOCO showed armed officials holding prisoners at gunpoint. Located in Sayre, Oklahoma, which is about halfway between Oklahoma City and Amarillo, Texas, the North Fork Correctional Facility can hold up to 4,200 inmates at one time. And though the cause of the riot remains unclear at this point, the police force in charge of providing security insists that the riot remained contained and that there was never a breach in the perimeter.
Wall Street protesters are planning a march to the homes of J.P. Morgan Chase, CEO Jamie Dimon, billionaire David Cook, hedge fund manager John Paulson, bank executive Howard Milstein, and News Corp CEO Rupert Murdoch today, October 11th. According to Charles Riley of CNN, these individuals are being targeted due to what event organizers call, quote, willingness to hoard wealth at the expense of the 99%, end quote. The organizers of this event have not estimated how many people will be in attendance. However, as of 11 a.m. this morning, 300 people confirmed that they would attend on the Facebook event page. New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg added, quote, the bottom line is people want to express themselves. As long as they obey the laws, we'll allow them to do so.
The trial for the so-called Merchant of Death, Victor Bout, began today in New York. According to CNN, Bout is facing numerous charges, including conspiracy to kill Americans, attempting to sell arms to undercover federal agents, wire fraud, and violating UN Security Council sanctions. Bout's alleged life of crime was the inspiration for the 2005 Nicolas Cage film Lord of War, with Douglas Farah, a national security consultant who co-wrote a book on Bout, saying, quote, he unquestionably made some of the worst wars of the 20th century and early 21st century much worse than they would have been, end quote. Though Bout's lawyer, Albert Y. Dalen, contends that his client is innocent of arms dealing, a fact he believes will be made evident at trial. Bout has previously pleaded not guilty on all counts, believing that the trial is nothing more than a witch hunt.
In early July, the NBA league owners threatened to begin a lockout of its players due to the dispute of the new labor agreement between players and owners. Yesterday, NBA Commissioner David Stern announced that the first 2 weeks of the NBA's regular season would be canceled due to this continued disagreement. He also added that there have been no further talks about scheduling for later on in the season. According to Stern, quote, the league lost as much as $300 million in the 2010-2011 season, end quote, and that the 30 owners are seeking cost-cutting help from the players in order to make the next season more profitable than the last. The NBA canceled its preseason less than a week ago, costing them $200 million in revenue.
After treading water for about 20 hours, a 4-year-old girl and 3 others were rescued Sunday by Coast Guard crews off the Florida Keys, while an 80-year-old woman on the boat drowned before she could be reached. The Coast Guard said in a news release that the rescue occurred Sunday morning near Marathon, which is roughly halfway between Key Largo and Key West. Those saved were among a group of 8 that had been on a boat that sank not long after noon on Saturday. The elderly woman was among those on the boat, but Coast Guard reported that she never surfaced. 3 other members of the group were picked up by a passerby. Not all of the boaters were wearing life jackets, according to the Coast Guard's initial report. A crew based at the Coast Guard's Marathon station brought the 4 rescued boaters to emergency medical workers waiting at a nearby marina and dive center. They were assisted by members of the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, which is investigating the incident.
According to CNN, quote, an official with the Center of Disease Control and Prevention have been arrested and charged with 2 counts of child molestation and 1 count of bestiality, end quote. The 44-year-old Dr. Kimberly Quinlan Lindsay was arrested in DeKalb County, Atlanta on Sunday. CNN continued by saying that, quote, authorities also charged Lindsay's live-in boyfriend, Thomas Joseph Westerman, 42, with 2 counts of child molestation, end quote. The 2 are accused of sexual acts involving a 6-year-old child, including a charge of bestiality against Lindsay. According to Emory University Biological and Biomedical Sciences website, Lindsay has received 12 awards for outstanding performance on projects and programs during her 12 years with the CDC. Westerman is currently out of jail on bond, and Lindsay remains in jail with a $20,000 bond.
California Governor Jerry Brown has vetoed a bill that would make it illegal for police in that state from conducting warrantless searches of the cell phones of people under arrest. According to CNN, in a statement released by Brown, he justifies his veto by saying, quote, this measure would overturn a California Supreme Court decision that held that police officers can lawfully search the cell phones of people who they arrest. The courts are better suited to resolve the complex and case-specific issues relating to constitutional search and seizure protections, end quote. California legislators will now need to wait a year before introducing any new legislation regarding this issue. This bill was sponsored by California Senator Mark Leno, who responded to Brown's decision by saying, quote, this veto is very unfortunate. The message from the governor was rather incoherent. When you consider all the information that is accessible on one smartphone, if that same information was contained anywhere else, police would need a warrant to search for it. So it makes no sense to carve out legal exception for smartphone searches. We're now going to take one more short break, but we'll return with your international stories for the evening. Stay tuned.
Where's my husband? Where's my husband?
Stop.
How's she doing? 2,
She was a passenger. I was T-boned on the passenger side.
We just had some wine. I wasn't even drunk, I was just buzzed.
What? You were just buzzed. Well, sir, you didn't tell us that. In that case, she's just fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Really?
No, not really.
Buzz driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal.
No matter where you live, life in the ocean depends on you. Do your part to help protect it. Recycle and dispose of your trash properly. To learn what you can do, go to keepoceansclean.org.
When I have a nightmare, Dad, I feel like a fish with no water.
Learn how to prevent your child's next asthma attack. Because even one attack is one too many.
I wake up in pain every day. What's going on?
For answers, ask your doctor the right question. Could I have lupus?
Listen, I know you're upset, but it was just one date. And dating's like the stock market. There's ups and downs and ups and so always buy low.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Welcome back to the Beaver News. On Monday, a crew of Italian ships were seized by pirates, but according to CNN, the crew was freed today, quote, thanks to an operation by U.S. and British troops working with the Italian military, end quote. In all, there were 11 pirates involved in the hijacking of the ship, Monte Cristo, and surrendering to the troops operating under NATO's Operation Ocean Shield. Thankfully, all the crew members of the ship were returned safely. According to the IBM, quote, there have been 24 successful hijackings this year to date and 194 incidents, end quote. Though that indicates an increase in total hijackings for the previous year, the number of successful hijackings have gone down.
After striking a reef off the coast of New Zealand, the Liberian tanker, the MV Rena, began leaking oil into the Pacific Ocean 12 nautical miles from Tauranga. According to CNN, the ship began leaking oil around Wednesday morning. However, reports suggest that the ship has managed to retain about 450,000 gallons of its nearly 500,000-gallon payload. Despite the efforts from national and international cleanup crews, the oil is still causing massive damage to the wildlife in the area. Oil-soaked dead birds and other wildlife are being found throughout the region, causing Greenpeace to voice its extreme concern and to press the New Zealand government to cease its use of further chemical dispersants. Greenpeace's Steve Abel said, quote, this is an unfortunate illustration of just how difficult it is to deal with oil spills at sea. Even a slow and relatively accessible oil spill like this one has clearly stretched New Zealand's response capability to its limits, end quote. 500 of the New Zealand Defence Force are currently on the shore, preparing for quick clean when the oil finally does reach the shoreline. That's all the news we have for you tonight, but be sure to tune in tomorrow at 7 o'clock for more local, national, and international news right here on KBVR.